Some people go to farmers markets to sell vegetables, baked goods, homemade jams. I decided to show up with a pile of wood.
And a dream.
Over the next couple of videos, I'm building woodworking projects that, according to YouTubers, are their best sellers. Of course, I'll be putting my own spin on them, and then I'll see if anybody actually wants to buy them. First up is a serving tray that will either be a hit at the market or is going to end up just sitting in one of the cabinets in my kitchen for the next 10 years. So let's get started. All we had was broccoli. For the trays, I'm using 1/8 inch backer board. You can get this at Home Depot or Lowe's. Normally it comes in a 4x8 sheet. I like to cut it down in my garage with a circular saw and a straight edge just to make it more manageable down here in the workshop. Now for the sizing, you can make these any size you want. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do about 22 inches wide and probably about 13 or 14 inches deep. I'm gonna see how it looks after I cut it, but we're gonna start that first cut now. So with these cedar fence pickets, they're not like traditional dimensional lumber where it's always the same size. They're always a different thickness, varies from board to board. The widths can be different, and there's certainly usually not ever a straight edge on these. So I built this jig, which kind of does the same thing as a joiner would do for my purposes. If you'd like to know how I built this, leave a comment down below and maybe I'll make a video of how I did this. Make sure the hollow edge is facing the jig, not the crowned edge. That keeps the board from rocking and it gives you a much straighter cut. And this way you have 2 points of contact against the jig. Once I have one straight reference edge, I can run that edge against the fence on the table saw to rip the opposite side perfectly parallel. And I guess while I'm talking to you, I'll tell you what these are actually for. I'm cutting a whole bunch of 1.5 inch strips. These are going to be used for the bottom of the tray. The other dimension I'm going to be cutting is 2 inches, and that's going to be used for the sides of the tray. Ha! The bottom of my tray will have a chevron pattern, so I need to add a 45-degree angle over here at the miter saw. I went and measured out to find the exact center of my board to help with the layout. Now I'm just going through and I'm looking at the color variations and just trying to mix them up a bit. And apparently I didn't press record when I glued these down, but basically you just move everything to the side, add a bunch of glue to your board, spread it around, and added some heavy weights to the top. So I let this set up for a few hours. Now you have a couple of options. If you have a planer, which I have, you can run this through now and it will make everything smooth and all the same height. Again, with these cedar boards, they're not all exactly like, if you feel it, you'll feel like different heights here. But it's not too bad, especially if you do your due diligence when you're picking out your boards at the beginning, just to find the ones that are the most alike as far as thickness. But you can also just grab an aggressive sander, some 80 grit, and just start there and go over it, and that will help you flatten it out. Go to your 80 grits and then work all the way to your 120. And 120 should probably be good for what we're doing with this. Don't need to use a planer, but if you have one like I do, use it. But before we get to the planer, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to its final dimensions. Because if you do have a planer like I do, you gotta make sure the thing fits. right, so we got that flat. Now there are a few voids in here, so before the final sanding, I'm gonna fill these in. You can use wood filler from the store, or what I like to do is I just grab the sawdust from the machines I just used that are from the cedar, so it'll match nicely. So I'm just gonna add a little wood glue to this, make a little paste, and we'll fill these voids in. It actually fits. All right, so I let this sit overnight. You obviously don't need to wait that long. I just happened to do it because it was at the end of the day. You only need a couple hours for the glue to set up. I'm gonna give this one final sanding on the edges, and then we're gonna put on some hardware. I did decide to put a coat of polyurethane on here. I actually did 3 coats. I want to be able to protect it. You know, if you are serving food on this and something spills, it'll help be able to clean it up after. This is not a food safe finish, so I wouldn't put food directly on this tray.
I can't wait for the s'mores. I love s'mores. How can we have s'mores if we haven't had anything yet? Oh.
All right, who's ready for the s'mores? I have bad news though.
What?
We were all out of s'mores, so we got broccoli. No?
No.
Actually, I don't mind broccoli.
Where's the ranch?
All right, and that's the serving tray. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is the first video in a short series that I'm creating to make products to bring to a farmer's market, see how well they sell. Again, my research is based off of what other YouTubers are telling me, so I'm really curious whether or not they are their best sellers. The next video is coming out really short after this one. Really short, fairly quickly. Shortly after this one. Yeah, there it is. So like, subscribe on this one, and hit that notification. That way you know when that one's coming out. You're not going to want to miss it. And then at the end, I'm hoping to wrap all these up and let you know how I did. So be sure to stay tuned. Subscribe. Don't miss them. Pointing at you, that means I'm serious. So